Good morning everyone. Today you're joining me, Megan, from Megan's Kitchen, and we're going to be making upside down pineapple cake. It's quite a fun cake to make really, because we start at the bottom of our cake tin and build it up, and when we turn it upside down we get a very pretty result. So one of the first things we need to do is pop our oven on to 180 degrees centigrade so that can warm. You can ask an adult to help you. And the other job that you need to do is prepare your cake tin. For this cake you need a 22 centimeter tin, and this is actually very important because if it's too small your pineapple pieces won't fit in completely correctly and they'll overlap. But that's okay if you want to make it like that, but if you want the best look then you need a 22 centimeter tin. So what I've done is I've sprayed the bottom and I've traced around the edge of my cake tin with some baking paper, and I've popped the baking paper in the base. You can pop baking paper around the edge, but I find that it works just fine if you just give the edge a good spray with cooking spray. And then once your cake tin's prepared, just set it aside out of the way. Make sure then that you get all your ingredients ready to go. Look at your recipe, make sure you've got it all set up, because this makes baking so much easier. Once we've prepared our cake tin, then what we're going to be doing is making our brown sugar and butter glaze that's going to go in the base of it. So what you're going to need then is 75 grams of melted butter. I just popped it in the microwave, or you could pop it in on the stove top in a little small pan. And then you're going to also need 1/3 of a cup of brown sugar. So I prefer to just spoon it in because brown sugar is quite sticky, and just lightly packed with the back of a spoon. That's about 1/3 of a cup, and in it goes with the butter. Just give it a good stir around so it's nicely mixed together. So this is going to melt when the cake's cooking, and it's going to absorb into the base of the cake and make your cake lovely and moist and tasty. Once it's sort of looking like that, then you can pour that into the base of your cake tin on top of the baking paper. Spoon it around. Now you've prepared the base of your tin, we're going to take our pineapple pieces that we've drained and we're going to place them in the base of the tin. Now you're going to make sure you squish them up so that they're all touching. Squeeze it in. You see how lovely they fit if you've got that 22 centimeter tin? Fits perfectly. It's made just for the job. A bit of paper towel for my fingers. And then we're going to have some fun and place a glazed cherry in the center so we get a really pretty look. I might just pop some into a cup so that I don't make a mess with my fingers. And you just take your fingers and in they go into the center of the pineapple where you've got that hole. Goodness, that was excellent. I poured just the right amount into my cup. Right, so there we go. Now we've got our base of our cake all prepared. We just set that aside and we're going to start making our butter cake mixture. Now this recipe is an absolutely fabulous recipe because you can use it for making cupcakes or just a basic butter cake. It's one of those really diverse recipes that you'll use over and over again, and it's really easy. So what you're going to need is 125 grams of butter at room temperature, or at least softened. So if you are going to pop it in the microwave to soften it, be very careful because sometimes it can over soften and melt. You can use an electric beater if you want, but if you don't have one, you can use your muscles like I am just to get it creaming and starting to cream. To that, I'm going to add a 1/2 cup of caster sugar. You can use normal sugar, but caster sugar dissolves a little bit better and you get a nicer, lighter cake. But ordinary sugar will work as well. Just need to cream it a little bit longer. In goes our sugar. I'm going to give this a good cream. Right, I'm just almost finished creaming now. It's almost at the right consistency to go. I've used lots of muscle power. And so it will kind of look like that, and as you cream more and more, it will become whiter. And that's the idea. You want it to come sort of a white, creamy consistency like this. Into that now we're going to add our vanilla essence. We're going to add 1 teaspoon of vanilla essence. or extract. I actually prefer using an extract because it's a bit stronger and it doesn't have the alcohol in it. But it's up to you, whatever you've got available at home. Just add that in. And now we're going to add our eggs. This part, it's important to add 1 egg at a time. I like to use the back of a knife just to crack it. Pop it into another little container. Make sure that your egg is actually safe to use. And in it goes. And again, you're going to mix it into your butter. Sometimes it looks like it's curdled a little bit, but don't worry, because once you add your flour, that curdling will go away. Give it a good mix. I like to just use the knife, just make sure I get that off. Can you see how well it's mixed in before I add the second egg? It's pretty well almost mixed in. Then I'm going to do egg number 2. Use the back of that knife, that will do. Again, just check it in your little cup, make sure your egg is safe. In it goes into the bowl. You're going to whisk it well again. Make sure it beats well and it's incorporated nicely into that sugar and butter mixture. See, even if it gives that little bit of a curdled look, that's okay, because when you add the flour, that will go away. Now we need 1 cup of self-raising flour. When you measure right to the top of your measuring cup. About there. And we're going to sift that in, and also we're going to need 1/4 cup of milk. Now once I stop pouring, it should balance. There we go. Just going to leave my measured milk on the side there. Now, the best thing to do is to do sort of a little bit of flour, a little bit of milk, and end with flour. So I like to do half. Because ending with flour will make sure you don't have that curdled look. A little bit of milk. Whoopsie, got wobbles. A little bit of flour. I'll leave a little dash for the end. That brings it back together. And our last of our milk. Making a nice mess here, but that's all part of baking. We make a mess, but we clean it up. You see, it's lovely, it's coming together. If it does have that curdled look, it will be corrected when you add your final bit of flour. Oopsie, almost forgot to sift that, but that's okay. Sifting just helps to incorporate air and gives us a lighter cake. And of course gets rid of the little bubbles and blobs of flour that have stuck together. And that's how beautiful cake batter come together. The final step now is to pour our batter over the pineapple pieces. I like to use a spatula like this because then I get all the mixture out of my bowl. Now just go very slowly, scoop it out slowly so you don't interrupt the pineapples and move them about, because we want them to still be evenly over the base of the cake. See little blobs, that. Scoop it all out. Amazing, these spatulas are like magic. Look how clean that bowl is. Let's just gently, using your spatula, just gently move the cake mixture over the pineapples. Spread it evenly. Spoon the last little bit off into the cake tin. Right. Now it's time to pop our cake into the preheated oven. Remember, we preheated it at 180 degrees centigrade earlier. Make sure you get an adult to help you. Just pop your cake in very carefully into the center of the oven. We're going to let that cook for 40 minutes. until it comes out and it's cooked right through. You can test it by using a skewer or just pressing the top of the cake, and if it bounces back, then you know it's cooked through. Once it's cooked, set it aside to cool in the tin for at least 10 or 15 minutes. Don't try to take it out straight away, because otherwise your cake will just fall apart. And here is our finished result, our beautiful pineapple cake, ready to be eaten, sliced up. You can serve it as a dessert with a bit of ice cream or custard, or you can just have the cake as it is. Thank you so much for joining me today. Don't forget to pop down to one of your local Salisbury libraries and borrow a cooking book and get cooking during the school holidays and having lots of fun. Keep well. Till next time.